Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/AITA. In today's episode, AITA for checking my husband's dashcam footage on his car without his consent. AITA for asking my sister WTF she expected to happen at her shitshow of a bachelorette party. AITA for always turning down hangouts with my friends when they ask to bring their kids. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. AITA for checking my husband's dashcam footage on his car without his consent. I, 34F, live with my husband, 37M, and daughter, 7F. My daughter and I recently went on a short trip out of state while my husband stayed as he had work and was supposed to look after our dog. On the last day of our trip, we got a call from my husband who was acting distraught and said that our dog Ellie had run away and that he could not find her. He claimed she just bolted away from him in the park, into some bushes, and he could not find her. Our dog is quite small, a mini poodle mix and almost 13 years old. She is still active, but it is really unlike her to run away from us, and I was suspicious but chose to believe my husband and me and my daughter were in grief but did not want to blame him. When we came back home, he seemed surprisingly okay, unlike us. Ever since the pandemic, my husband started working from home and he has always been annoyed at how much attention we gave Ellie and hated how Ellie begged to sit on our laps and his while he worked. A few days later, we got a call from an animal rescue in a neighboring state quite far from us that she had been found. I picked the phone and it was on our landline, which we almost never use these days, but was the contact on the microchip. I told my husband and he just said, "That is great, I am so happy," but it felt kind of blunt and insincere. I said it is strange that she got so far and he responded that someone must have stolen her and then abandoned her. This made little sense to me as to why that would happen. When he was out drinking with his buddies, I copied the videos from his dashcam for the days I was away and saw that he had indeed taken Ellie far out of state, and clearly dropped her in front of his car, thrown a frisbee-like object into a field, yelled fetch and drove off without her. I was livid and confronted him and he just stupidly muttered how he dropped her there so she could find a farm and have a better life, and then the next day got really angry at me for viewing his dashcam and called me and my daughter AHs. NTA. Keep your dog and daughter and leave the husband in another state to find another family he'd have a better life with. Don't forget to throw him a frisbee. Opie would only be an AH if she leaves him alone with that dog again. He didn't drop it at a shelter, he left a senior dog alone to starve or die of exposure. A dog who clearly loved and trusted him. Wow. NTA. You had a gut feeling and were absolutely right. This is horrible. What your husband did is sick and cruel. He left an innocent animal to die. Obviously, what you do now is up to you. But if it were me, I would never be able to trust him again. The entire relationship would be ruined. He needs to seek therapy if he is so insecure that he is jealous of a dog. Pathetic excuse for a man. Oh, I will never trust him again and I am going to be seeing a lawyer soon. I might have a lot to lose as I earn significantly more than him. NTA. I personally would straight up divorce him. My dogs are my family. Then he turns around and gets mad and calls you names. That's the same tactic that cheaters use when their significant other finds something. Trying the all uno reverso on you. Already planning that. NTA. Run. Really, Opie, I don't know what else to say. He drove out of state to dump your senior dog. Next time, he's going to hit her with his car. He called you and your 7-year-old daughter assholes. If your dog is still in the home with you, move her to a friend or family's. Like, tonight. My dog is currently at my parents' place and he is livid about it and how he deserves trust yet still insists he did that for her own good. It's animal cruelty, and if he called your 7 years old an you need to start filing for divorce. He called a 7-year-old an What's she got to do with any of this? Is she his kid? 'Cause if not, you should probably rethink your relationship. I call my kids AHS, but not in the sense that they actually are, they just do things sometimes, cause they're feral. Also, he's jealous of a 13-year-old dog. This guy super sucks. NTA. NTA, he abandoned a family member. My dad did this shit to us as a kid with one of our dogs he didn't like, and I still haven't forgiven him. I hope he realizes how messed up this was. By the way, my dad was also seeing prostitutes behind my mother's back at the same time, but we didn't find out for 10-ish years. All I'll say is that someone with their little empathy and willingness to lie might be doing more behind your back than you realize. AITA for asking my sister WTF she expected to happen at her shitshow of a bachelorette party? For some reason my F32 sister, 23, and her fiancé, 25, decided that the very best way to celebrate before getting married was to have a joint bachelor/bachelorette party at strip clubs. They also hired a bus limo for the evening. The aftermath was, thus far, 3 breakups, 4 people dropping out of the wedding party, 1 impending divorce, and 1 arrest. The cleaning bill for the limo was more than the original rental fee also. She was crying to our mom at dinner the other day and I snorted. I tried not to, I honestly did. I was trying my best to just keep my mouth shut. She asked me what was so funny. I said that I wasn't sure what she expected to happen getting a group of people drunk, using illicit substances, and getting horned up watching exotic dancers. She said that I was an asshole for judging her and her friends. I said I wasn't judging, just that literally anyone could have seen that outcome. My mom told me to apologize because my sister is having to replace most of her wedding party on the fly. I did. But I still think I'm right. AITA? I don't really care about AITA part. I want to hear more about this night that ended 3 relationships and an arrest. Can you elaborate? From a comment further down. I'll give the tamest example. My cousin is a talented singer. She is single and was supposed to sing a song during the ceremony. However, she hooked up with the maid of honor, whom nobody knew had that in her, including her boyfriend. This happened in the bus. He got arrested for trying to break into the bus while this was going on, and several people were cheering them on after locking him out. We don't know enough about long-term family dynamics to really establish status yet. But my God, please share more. 3 breakups, 1 possible divorce, for dropout of wedding, 1 arrest. Ha ha ha. That's kinda unique in the history of trashy bachelor/ed parties? Plus a total trashing of the limo. NTA. The collateral damage from this party shows just how bad of an idea this was. Sure, many people/groups can go to strips clubs, drink, have fun, and not end up arrested, divorcing, breaking up, and dropping out of the wedding. This group obviously were not able to do so, and I find it very difficult to believe this wasn't evident beforehand. Ostensibly, they've all partied together before and knew what chaos could ensue. That you snorted at their naivete doesn't make you the AH. Your mother telling you to apologize because your sister is having to replace most of her wedding party shows me just exactly where your sister gets it from. OP is being very vague about what actually went down, but the more they post, the more it seems like the strip club setting was almost irrelevant. Sounds like they could have planned a movie night and still ended up all coked out and destroying their lives. People may not agree with me, but I feel like ESH except your sister, unless she was one of the cheaters. I'd been to bachelorettes with strippers. I'd been to bachelor parties at strip clubs. No one took anyone home. Cheating, doing drugs is a choice, unless someone's an addict, in which case that should have been taken into consideration during planning. Even when a couple people got trashed, everyone still made sure the bride or groom had a good time. Your sister can ask for whatever kind of party she wants, and if anyone goes overboard, that's on them. And then you totally didn't try to keep your snort/scoff in. You wanted to state your opinion and you were judgmental and blamed her for these other shitty people. If anything, you should have been more supportive and talked about how these people don't seem like good influences / people she should keep close to her. AITA for always turning down hangouts with my friends when they ask to bring their kids? I have a friend group of 7 women from uni. I'm the only one that's child-free, but 1 is childless, 2 are pregnant with their first, and 3 have kids. We as a group rarely meet up. I've seen all of them maybe twice in the last year, and we all live in the same city. Every time someone asks to meet up and we finally find a date, everyone is available. One of the moms always asks if they can bring their child or children. It's usually one of 2 moms, as the third actually wants to have a kid-free evening. And before anyone else can answer, the other mom says yes. All 3 moms have husbands who can watch their kids. Most of them also have both sets of grandparents who are involved. But somehow they never manage to find someone who can babysit, as they call it. So at this point I've stopped answering until they've set a time and place. Someone has asked about kids, and I say I can't make it. I hang out with them one-on-one, or in smaller groups, instead. Well, a few days ago we agreed to finally meet up. No one had asked about kids and we were having a barbecue and wine night. Who shows up with their 8-year-old? Yep, one of the moms. I clearly didn't hide my annoyance and one of the girls asked me why. I just waved it off and 30 minutes later I excused myself and left. Said I didn't feel well. In those 30 minutes we hadn't had any adult talk, we were just entertaining the kid. I would rather go home and do this for another 3 to 4 hours. After I left, I think they realized this was a pattern and I got text from most of the girls in the group. Some calling me an asshole, others just saying they were annoyed with me for leaving, while the third mom having my back, and asked to meet up later that week to have a proper wine night. I don't hate kids at all. I work with them every day and don't want to spend my time off, relaxing with friend, having to entertain other people's kids again. AITA? NTA. Wine night with friends from college pretty definitely means no children. NTA mom of 2. I'd be pissed if someone brought their kids to a night out. If I've sorted a sitter, I don't want to see any kids. NTA. I'd be annoyed and do exactly what you did. But I would communicate the lack of desire to be around children, as it doesn't seem this boundary, which is reasonable, has been established or communicated. NAH, it sounds like your friend circle is naturally fracturing. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It is quite natural for young parents to want to socialize with their children in tow when their friendship circle consists of other parents in the same situation. It's also a nice way for their children to mix with others. Not all friendships are for a lifetime, some are for a season. This one may have run its course. NTA, but you're being passive-aggressive. I understand not wanting to be around kids in your free time, but you need to establish early on in the planning process that it's just a gals' night, or something to that effect. You can't assume the others will automatically think of or want to arrange childcare when one of you suggests hanging out, and then get mad when they don't. Well, when OP does stick up for herself, she left the party, clearly defining her boundaries. She gets a bunch of passive-aggressive texts calling her an AH. Doesn't sound like she can win here. Duh, but just tell them, I am not available for kid playdates, but I'm happy to spend adult time with you guys. You aren't demanding they not get together without the kids, you just don't go. Yeah, OP is making the problem worse by refusing to communicate. Hey, can we have a ladies-only hangout? Is very simple. Doesn't have to be aggressive. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.